Welcome back. Another week here at the Whiskey Gingers podcast. And we're mixing it up this week. We've done a bunch of American whiskeys, a bunch of bourbons. We've done France. We've done
French whiskey.
Scotland. We've done England. We've done almost all of Europe.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more out there, but we've done the important parts of Europe. So now we're going to switch it up, and we found a Japanese whiskey, which I think you were the one that had heard some good things about Japanese whiskey as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about Japanese whiskeys. This could be good, could be bad. You said that you heard that it was, you read that it was a pretty good one, but in general, I just think it would be interesting to try. It broadens our palate a little bit more, which is what we're all about doing here, trying things that we would probably never try normally. So, yeah, I think that it's a good thing. But what do you have? You said you found a couple things about it. Give us a little bit of the limited understanding that we have, because this is a parts unknown kind of whiskey.
It is. And I didn't do a great load of research. I looked up, is Suntory Japanese whiskey good? So we're really cutting through to the tough questions.
That's subjective.
Yes. And the Seattle Spirit Society rated it a 3.5 out of 5, and it's the 6th overall best whiskey of the Japanese whiskey that they tried. And it's been around since 1923. Okay. So clearly they've done something right over the years to stay in business.
In the end, it's on like the newer age of whiskeys that we've had. When you think about it, like companies that we've had,
yes,
most of them are super old at this point. So there's kind of young blood in the mix.
Yeah, and it's interesting. If you ask people how to drink Japanese whiskey, you get equal parts chilled highball and on the rocks are your two options. I know you're primarily a neat man, so we'll get another perspective that the internet didn't give us.
There you go.
This one is apparently better cold.
If it was a Wikipedia page, we could edit it ourselves, but unfortunately it's not.
Is Japanese whiskey good with Coke? Good Lord, people. What are you doing?
No whiskey is good with Coke.
Ew. The Suntory owned Maker's Mark. Suntory's home to... Hey, no way. Suntory whiskey is home to award-winning Japanese whiskeys, Oh boy. Yamazaki, Hibiki, and Hakusha, as well as iconic American brands like Jim Beam and Makers.
Very cool.
We've had their whiskey, we just didn't know it.
Check that out.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Without further ado, I'm going to hand this over for the attempt at opening. This is like a weird cloth wrap.
Yeah, it's got like a mesh wrap on it. Actually, I was playing around with it before to make sure I wasn't going to make a fool out of myself.
We're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it anyway. But there's a little rippy part here that you can rip off that I somehow managed to mess up. It's okay. I just need the top to come off. Oh, it's meant to do that. It looks like hockey tape.
It kind of
like a hockey stick.
It looks like grip tape.
I don't know if you want to feel that. I wasn't passing off my trash on you.
But it is plastic, though. That's the weird part.
It's very odd. I don't necessarily need to take the whole of it off, but it actually has. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a cork.
Me too.
It's a
I got excited.
Okay. All right. Well, it's twist off.
Sorry, guys.
It's a little anticlimactic, but
just build suspense for next week. Yeah, leave them wanting more.
It's got a nice pour sound to it, though. Sometimes it depends on I feel like when it's a wider mouth bottle, you don't get that satisfying pour sound, but there must be something to it because a lot of whiskey bottles have that wider.
Is there a correct way to pour whiskey?
Oh, I have no idea.
Me either.
You're asking the wrong person.
Because I know wine, when you pour out of a wine bottle, you're supposed to be a couple inches above the glass and then do that quarter turn at the end, so you don't have it drip down side of the bottle down side of your glass.
Maybe it's this.
I've never.
Maybe that's what this is for. It catches some of the extra whiskey.
It could be. I've never looked it up, and I really should have.
And then when you're done, you can just wring it out and get that last
drop. It's like a bartender.
Exactly, on the drip tray.
All right.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. That's pretty sweet. At least mine.
I was going to say that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It had it says that it has a spice to it. The limited information that was on this bottle, which is, by the way, extremely limited.
I'm not getting any spice on that.
It says that
I guess I do kind of get it, though. If it's going to be that sweet, I can almost get a Coke.
A subtly sweet and spicy finish. I don't agree with the spicy at all.
Yeah.
The sweet is definitely there. It's very much like an Irish whiskey sweet level. That's what I would compare it to. I think that it's sweet like an Irish whiskey is, for sure. And I think it's pretty good.
Me too. I actually really like it. But
I was a little bit nervous because it has a lighter color, and I tend to be a darker colored whiskey kind of fan.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see the really light ones, I think, ooh, this may not be to me, they tend to be like a little bit more rough on the taste profile, and they're not
Yeah.
really as sweet or good. I don't know, but this actually kind of hits a lot of good notes.
Yeah, and this I'm looking up what they recommend you mix Suntory with, which I want to start doing because even though I think it's blasphemous to mix good whiskey, I'm still interested in seeing what people come up with.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the standard. It's ginger beer, soda water, bitters. What was there was one that was really interesting. What mixes well with? Oh, here it is. Blood orange juice.
Blood orange juice.
Anybody?
Actually, whiskey and orange juice is really good.
Is it?
It is really good. Think of it like having an old fashioned with your orange peel in it, but blood orange is a little bit more tart. So you're actually getting like a really good flavor profile from the whiskey and the orange.
I think I'd rather just have an old fashioned.
Of the two, yeah. And then I found apparently a lot of people like Japanese whiskey. I'm actually among one of them now.
I would buy this again.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
The question was, why is Japanese whiskey so good? Japan has cold winters that slow the aging of their spirits, while the humid summers then speed it up. So it's a really like up and down
It's a roller
distillation
coaster
process.
ride of a whiskey.
Yeah, so it like sweats and then like contracts and gets cold and then sweats and cold. And I don't know if that contributes to the sweetness. You would think you would taste more of the barrel that way, but I really don't get a whole lot of like oak or
No.
smokiness out of it.
I think that it's very clean.
Mhm.
It's very clean, very sweet. This is one that you can absolutely just sip straight.
It is.
Guaranteed. This is something like I said, I would buy off the shelf again and just sip.
What's funny is like with a lot of whiskeys, I mean, I guess mostly bourbons, I can think of it, but you don't get like I don't get that like warm feeling from this one. Like the other ones, like usually kind of like raise your body temperature, or like you just feel like a little bit of a burn.
Yeah.
This you don't feel any change that way at all.
And I mean, like it's 43%, so it's not like it's a lighter alcohol percentage. I don't know. This is dangerous. I would put this. I'd probably almost put this in my top 5 of the ones we've done so far. I think it goes down.
It does. It goes down as
within
easy as anything we've had.
as easy as any of the other top 5s.
Yeah,
for sure. It would just come down to flavor if it would be a top 5 contender. And I think it is for me at least. I don't know if you agree, but for me, I think this is actually a top 5 contender. I would sip this regularly.
I definitely think it's a contender. I don't remember our top 5, to be completely honest with you. I mean, I remember like parts of it. Like I know Writer's Tears is in there. I know for me, Wiggle was still in there.
Yep. Oh, didn't I dethrone?
Dude, outside
Wiggle?
of that,
I dethroned Wiggle.
Yeah, Wiggle's your 6 now.
What a Whistle Pig. Top
Whistle Pig.
I have to tell you, I almost drank that entire bottle. That is delicious. It's really good.
So if we can remember all the whiskeys we drank, now might not be a bad time to update the top 5. If you can remember your top 5 that you like.
Maybe it should just be off the cuff, because even though I feel like we were prioritizing stuff that was in the top 5 just because it was in the top 5.
Yeah, now it's wide open.
It's wide open. You pick whatever you want in your top 5. I don't think it should be in any particular order. I think it should just be top 5.
In or out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
then you first, because it'll jog my memory on what we even had.
Don't forget to refer to your shelf if you need a little bit of a
That is true. It is mostly behind
us. All the Wiggle, I think, is missing for sure.
Well, Wiggle, you guys
we drank. We killed it.
There's a couple of them that
what
are
about
still
your
up there.
Bushmills?
Oh, that's both of them are still up there. Those are great.
At least in the original.
Those are great. I don't know if they're a top 5 contender, but they're really good.
That does help though. And now I think I have my top 5 in my head.
All right.
Number 1 is for me is probably still going to be the Writer's Tears. That might be one of the better whiskeys I have in general
ever.
Yeah. So that's pretty entrenched at 1. I actually really like the Whistle Pig. That might be my number 2.
The Whistle Pig.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was a really good bourbon.
Oh man, who was? I'm trying to think. Who was that? Oh yeah, not in any particular order is tough. But the Bushmill Prohibition for me is definitely in there.
Yeah.
I think this is in there. This is probably like if there is a 5, like a 5.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta think what else did I really enjoy. I guess we were doing. I mean, the Cuddy Stark was cool for the novelty. It wasn't necessarily the taste that did it.
Grey Coast is pretty good.
Grey Coast was a good one. Knob Creek actually enjoyed it, even though it burned a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I'd probably use Grey Coast to round out my top 5.
Yeah. Oddly enough, there's like 3.
Yeah.
Did you have 3 Irish whiskeys in there?
There is, yeah.
I don't know.
And this bumped Wiggle out.
It bumped Wiggle out.
This is so much easier to drink. I love Wiggle,
really good.
but this is
like you said in the beginning.
Easy.
It's very clean. It's very like easy to drink, and it's very tasty.
Yeah,
The
like,
3 berries that are important in
I
whiskey.
loved Wiggle. I kept it in 2 weeks longer than you
Mhm.
did, but
Yeah.
its time is finally here.
I'm doing mine in no particular order because I in my top 5 I would drink them all. I would consider them like a daily whiskey. I would drink any of these like
Yeah.
at any point, just off the shelf, just randomly pick one. I think this definitely fits in there for
Mhm.
me. You're not wrong at all. The Writer's Tears is in there. The Whistle Pig is in there. I tend to agree with you on the Bushmills too. The Prohibition was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we pretty much have the same top 5 because I think Grey Coast I'll throw in there as well. But
That's the next
I
one
know
to
the
go, I
Steel's
think.
definitely not going to go in there. That's for damn sure.
Didn't you try that again and you still couldn't get through it?
I mixed it. I made a highball
And it
with
was
the Bastille. I'm about 2 seconds away from dumping it down the toilet. It's so bad. It's not good.
use it for paint there.
I
or start a
just
bonfire.
really don't like it. Like it, you would think that if you're mixing it, it's going to kill a lot of the flavor, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean-
think I've ever seen my husband not drink a mix of and whiskey,
Like
neat
finish a drink or something.
and just finish any of his whiskey drinks at all.
We were watching Netflix or something. I had it sitting on the coffee table, and I remember thinking to myself, I just really don't want to drink this, and it just put me in a bad mood. I was like, I'm not gonna finish this drink. And then I looked at it when we were getting ready to go to bed. I said, I haven't even drank half of this thing yet. What am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah, like I can get down a cheap whiskey better than I can get that down, and I know that was like a lot of thought went into it, and
Mhm.
it's it's
It was
like a
cool.
novelty
It's a
thing.
good novelty, but
But-
it wasn't good in
Yeah.
practice.
I think I'd almost rather drink like Bankers Club whiskey than that.
Seagram's
Seagram's
7.
I don't hate Seagram's. It's not a good whiskey, but I do think it makes a pretty decent highball.
Well, we had this conversation like way back when. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure with like Jeff or something about that was like your first.
That was my first whiskey I
Whiskey
got
that
in my
you
hand.
tried.
It was a Seagram's, and it was in a 7 and 7.
You just like close the nose and just start downing it down.
Yeah, it's a wonder I grew up to like whiskey, considering like where I started.
I've been seeing all these videos of people that are trying whiskey for the first time straight.
Mhm.
So their whole goal is they want to be like sophisticated or whatever. I think the
Which is
reality
not what happens when
Yeah.
you start liking whiskey.
I think the reality is you either like it or you don't. There's
Yeah.
not like a forcing yourself into liking it. Clearly, the more you drink it, the more you'll probably build up an appreciation for it.
Mhm.
But I think if you don't like it from the get-go, you're not going to like it in general. But the
From the
consent
get-go?
from the get-go, yeah.
From the get-go?
Get-go.
The first time you said gecko, like as in
Yeah,
Geico.
yeah,
for
from the
sure.
get-go.
Get go.
Yeah.
Get-go.
But no one says get from the get go.
Yeah, but like there's definitely a K in there too.
I always thought it was the get-go.
All right, so I was trying to help you, Chris.
Explain to me how the logic that you took to get there.
I don't know. What does play it by ear mean? That doesn't make any sense either for the
Or
context.
dog eat dog. I don't
Like,
know.
okay.
That makes sense.
All right,
It's nature.
Explain
Either
explain
being-
play it by ear to me.
I-
What is because
Is it play it by ear or play it by year?
I thought it was play it by year with
Me too.
with a Y. And then somebody corrected me and said you play it by ear. And I'm like, what the fuck am I playing by ear? What does that mean? Like,
Yeah, I think it's year.
I'm talking about a subject of time, not a subject of what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
It
like
didn't make any sense. So to your point,
Mhm.
gecko, I never really questioned it because I just always, first
From
of
the
all, I'm
get-go.
half deaf, so I probably heard it half wrong. But
You heard it
regardless,
all the way wrong, my
I
friend.
heard it all the way wrong. But
So,
like, why would it make a difference?
just so you know, the correct phrase is to play it by ear.
EAR?
EAR.
But
What's the-
why?
Because it's similar to like, so the analogy that gets used a lot is like you learned to play the guitar by ear. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
So when you say let's play it by ear, it's not anything concrete, written down, tangible. It's let's talk about it and go through it, and then we'll see what happens. It's like kind of a similar thing. It's like let's just go with the flow and see how it works out. That's
Okay.
I'd like to go with the flow and find out who the fuck came up with that statement because it's stupid.
Yeah, like play it by ear. It sounds like I'm listening for something. Like,
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm
There's
not
got to
a-
be more of these too that are like misheard or
Was that a
mispronounced.
misnomer? Or
A misnomer,
what's the
maybe.
word
I don't
for that
know.
thing? Let me see if I can find it.
so it says. Besides the musical analogy, it's that you're progressing with the task on a moment-to-moment basis without a definite plan of action.
Okay. Oh, this isn't it. Huh, titmouse. Cool.
What?
That's one of the top 9 misnomers and misleading names is titmouse.
Titmouse.
It's a bird.
Is that how it's supposed to be said?
Yeah, there's no other pronunciation. It is spelled titmouse.
Titmouse. There you go.
Yeah, I was looking for more things like that, but
I don't know what.
oh,
that's
here we go.
even really
11
called.
phrases that don't mean what you think they do from Reader's Digest.
Oh, beautiful. Good quality content coming out of that.
Yeah, what is
That's
that?
like medical room waiting room.
Yeah, this
material.
is really boring stuff for the most part. I don't
They
know what
keep
I
that next to the
expected.
Good Housekeeping booklet on the waiting room.
Yeah, it's like the truth about fireflies are not flies, but rather flying beetles with illuminated tails. Shut up, nerds.
Nerds. I'm topping this off a little bit.
Go for it. I'm not the one driving home.
This is good stuff.
I actually do really like this. How much? Well, yeah, we usually do this. Like, where'd you find it? How much was the bottle?
Yeah, we got a little distracted by the the get go.
Exactly.
I got this at a local like wine and spirits in the area, and it was $30, $31.
That's a really good $30
Yeah,
whiskey.
it is really good for $30. It was really funny. The woman behind the counter when she was ringing me up, she looked at me and she goes, "Japanese whiskey, huh?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Yeah." I said, "My buddy and I do a whiskey tasting podcast," and her eyes lit up. She was like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever heard." She was like, "Do you like it?" I said, "Yeah. I mean, we enjoy it. It gives us something fun to do." And it was just a really odd experience. But yeah, $30 bottle of whiskey that I would say is definitely within our top 5
For
of all
sure.
the ones that we've had. So that's pretty good bang for your buck on that one for sure.
So here's just a fun one. I want to start doing this with other bottles.
Mm-hmm.
What's a number that if I told you I bought it for, you'd believe me? If I was like, let's say I bought this for $60, would you go?
I believe that.
Okay, yeah.
For
Like-
for the quality of what you have here, I believe $60.
Okay.
I'd be willing to pay $60
Yeah.
for something that tastes like this.
We've probably paid close to it for less.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like a lot of them are pretty subjective, but I would say for the price for what we got, I was very comfortable spending a little bit more on Writer's Tears because Writer's Tears was about a 50-something, $60 bottle of whiskey. And I would put that and this in a very similar category.
That's punching way outside your weight class if you're
Mhm.
a $30 box of whiskey. It is, the shape is rather weird.
Rectangular is very interesting. The screw off is interesting.
Yeah, but we've spent more time than usual on our whiskey of the week, which I guess means we're getting better at this.
We also always tend to do that on good whiskeys rather than the bad ones. The bad ones, like, let's talk about it and let's move the hell on.
Yeah, because we're not here to bash anybody, except for Bastille.
So, yes.
What's done is done.
The French, gosh.
Yeah, the French have gotten it enough on this podcast.
If anything, we've promoted them more just by talking about.
Hey, what's it?
We've talked about
Aldi's-
it almost like every episode. So clearly they've gotten some. What do they say?
All press is good press?
Yeah, all press is good press.
Yeah, so you're welcome. Whatever that is in French. If they know it, they're not typically gracious people.
Well, we can segue that in some non-connected way.
Yeah, it doesn't connect at all because maybe she might be. Either way, we'll see. So because this is our Valentine's Day edition, the day after, we thought it would be a good idea to talk about our celebrity hall passes. If you were in the spirit of Valentine's Day, if you were to cheat on your loved one, who would
You
you
want to do it on Valentine's Day with your celebrity crush. That's
Exactly.
the best way to do it.
So, I mean, I wonder if she is French because mine has always been Gal Gadot.
She's Israeli.
Okay, good to know. Not
Definitely
French.
not French.
For sure, not French.
I mean, there could be like 1% in there somewhere.
Well, like the Gadot just sounds
Does that sound
a little
French?
bit French. Like if it was like Gadot, like EAUX or whatever. Is that like
I don't even know who you're
that might be
talking about.
Cajun? You don't know who Gal?
She's-
You know who
she's
Gal
Wonder
Gadot is?
Woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Everybody has a crush on her. I feel like she's like probably in the last 5 years, she's one of the most crushed on
has to be.
celebrities of all time.
Yeah, but back of the line. I was here first.
She's actually, she wouldn't be on my hall pass, believe it or not.
Really? You think
Yeah.
you can do better than Wonder
Seriously.
Woman?
Well, I mean, that's a hold on. She's not Wonder Woman. She plays Wonder Woman. It would be like,
How dare you say that about her?
you can't look at that in the same parallel because I could be like, well, Henry Cavill and Superman. The man himself
Whoa, whoa,
is
whoa, whoa,
Superman.
whoa.
So
Whoa,
Yeah, what?
that's my hall pass.
yeah, that
Okay.
man is a freaking Greek god.
Mine's Spider-Man.
In general,
Wait,
which
hold on,
we'll get
hold
to
on.
later.
Which one?
If I had to pick Andrew Garfield.
Really?
He's first, but they're all getting the slice.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, nobody can cry like Tobey Maguire. Let's just get that straight.
He could be last.
He could be last. Is it just because he's older now, or is it because you didn't like his crying?
He might cry during.
He might
Yeah.
cry during.
That would get really uncomfortable. He shoots his web too early.
And then premature web shooting. And then afterwards, he goes into
He
like
looks
his.
like somebody who would shoot his web early.
Yeah. He's just so happy to be there.
Yeah.
Thanks for including me. Who was yours?
Who was mine? So I actually this is a two-part thing. One, my childhood celebrity crush that I don't know if it still counts, but
You should be careful how you word this this one.
When you were a child.
when I was a child,
Yeah, not like child act.
when I was a child, was Drew Barrymore. Believe it
Okay.
or not, I thought that Drew Barrymore was gorgeous.
Nothing
And she's
wrong with
honestly, she still is
Yeah.
gorgeous. She's very good looking. But I think that like in recent years, for the longest time, I had a big crush on Scarlett Johansson, and that
Oh,
was like a
yeah.
thing for a long
That's
time.
not who I thought you were gonna
Who was
say.
I gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say Taylor Momsen.
No, she's not really that much of a crush.
This is why I said for Chris to be careful how he words this,
Yeah.
because it might come off a little bit funny, but it's who she came up to be. But if you know who Cindy Lou Who is from Jim Carrey's The Grinch Stole Christmas,
Yeah.
That's Taylor Momsen,
that's
and
Taylor
she
Momsen, but he's talking about
she-
her as an adult, not the child Cindy Lou Who.
she made Daddy very
Yeah.
upset. She made Daddy very upset. Daddy was a pastor,
Oh.
and she decided to get into hard rock and metal music.
Mhm.
And she has a band called The Pretty Reckless, which some people have heard of.
Okay.
But she is good looking, but very emo
grunge
kind of look. Yeah. So I don't know. Those would be my hall passes, I guess, if it's
Okay.
even a thing. It's probably really just Scarlett Johansson, I guess. But she also has kind of like RBF sometimes, so who knows?
I mean, yeah, who doesn't? But when you say like she has like this grunge aesthetic, is it like the rebelling against your parents grunge, or like the all natural showers and like not believing?
It looks like Daddy beat me when I was a child.
What?
Granola is no
True.
shower, all natural. Grunge is like
I'm familiar with
Wait,
the concept.
hold on. There's a name for people that, like, that's a stylized look when you just like don't shower and
They could be
stuff.
granola people, yeah.
Yeah, like if you drive a Subaru and you have like.
If you drive a
Subaru.
Subaru, you may be a granola.
No, dude, they know their audience. It's granola people.
What
and
is this? An
lesbians.
ad for like Quaker Oats or something? What the hell is a granola? I've never heard.
No,
of
it's
that
an ad
before.
for the great outdoors and van living.
Van living.
Yeah, like if you're one of those people that like I got off the grid and ran in the van, congratulations, you're granola.
I don't wear shoes even in like nasty bars.
Yeah, they're like safely sourced shoes and like all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
You wear a lot of like Toms and Keds and
I have a pair of Toms.
what have you. Oh, really?
I do, yeah.
Where's your Subaru?
No, thank you. I like my car to, continue driving.
Do you have a drug rug?
Yeah, of course.
You use the word man a lot.
Man, that's hysterical.
What?
You should look at your phone.
I was trying not to do that because considering we're broadcasting at the moment.
Did you see what I
Yeah,
wrote?
they're also very nice people, by the way.
I know, but you're like
You're
Subaru
describing it very
and
accurately.
Yeah, they're
Crunchy.
you can be. Look, I wasn't derogatory. They also compost, by the way. You
They're
can be.
They're very concerned about the environment.
and
Yeah.
I recycle.
You can be nice granola people. It doesn't make you less granola.
I've never heard this comment
We
before in
weren't
my
saying that
life.
way. We were just saying you're describing them.
Have you heard of
precisely.
granola?
Never before tonight.
Is this like
Really?
a young thing?
It must be.
Yeah, it might be like a
Maybe
new
it's
wave
like a-
kind of
I might
thing.
have heard it from a sitcom.
I don't
That
know.
makes it even worse. That this is like a real pop culture.
Dude, but like think
phenomenon.
about it, like it does kind of make sense. It's accurate. Like they're the kind of
How
people
is it
like, do, like
accurate?
they do like those overnight oats and like they
Well,
but you know what I'm saying? Like
Once you go overnight oats, it's the downward spiral from there. The Subaru's in the lot
Yeah.
the next day. You're composting your own shit in the backyard.
you're cutting your own hair.
You're cutting your own hair. You're not wearing shoes anymore.
Yeah.
My art teacher cut her own hair in like middle school.
There's people that do that well. I don't know how they do it, but like there are people who like cut their own hair and it looks
Since
nice.
we generally don't care about offending people, and I think that's a pretty good stance because,
Yeah.
what does offending people really mean? I cannot get behind the short bang haircuts that people do nowadays.
What do you mean?
So I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like girls will do this haircut. Well, they'll do bangs, which was popular for a long
But
time,
they're like
and then
2-inch
they'll cut them
bangs.
like way up high. So it's like it looks like they're wearing a hat. Basically, that's where they cut
It's a
their
big
bang
forehead
line.
cut.
And then sometimes they do this thing where it kind of fringes up or whatever.
Like
I think
what?
it looks.
Well,
I
like
think it
up,
looks
like
it's poofy. It looks like you took hair off a troll and transplanted on their forehead.
ooh, that's tough luck.
It's
That's-
not good.
Yeah,
Especially with all the stupid colors that they got it.
It's not a
Yeah.
good look. And I'm sorry if somebody's offended by that, but I'm kind of not at the same point because
that
looks,
and like
it looks ridiculous.
I don't know if you've noticed, but like bowl cuts are slowly coming back.
I mean, the
Like-
mullet made a big comeback, but
Dude,
I think
mullet
it's like
sucks. Mullets are fine. Like
would you get a mullet in your time now?
If you give me about 15 minutes, I could fashion this into one pretty easily. I walk a thin line between mullet and non-mullet.
Oh my gosh!
But
Have you ever had like a fade? I feel like you've never had a fade ever.
No, I did at a point, and when
Did
it was
you?
like real big. But then I don't have a head for that.
Yeah.
Like I did it, and I'm like, it didn't fit me. Like I don't think I was trying to do like be something I wasn't.
Once you go fade, you can't go back.
I don't
You're
have
just a fuck boy forever. at
Not
that
everybody
point.
does. Like my hair gets thick too high up, so it was like a lot of fade. It was a fade
Yeah.
away.
Fade away.
Yeah, it was. We were pulling up from half court,
Oh god.
so that just wasn't. Yeah,
I think I got my first fade when I was like 13, maybe earlier. And I just never let the sides of my hair grow past that point. And that's funny because before that I had really long hair. Like it was like past my shoulders.
okay.
So-
Now the grunge connection.
And then
Comes
like
in.
it goes from there. I mean, I was just a little skate punk kid for
Yeah.
the longest time of my life. And then I saw Jersey Shore and that changed my way of life, I guess, for a while.
Didn't you just see those people on a regular basis? Like you grew up.
I grew up 10 minutes from there.
Yeah, like
But
that shouldn't have rocked your world.
It did. Well, no, the thing is, like, that's not what the shore was like before the show.
I mean, it wasn't exactly like the Riviera before that either. If we're being
No,
completely honest
No,
here.
but I mean, like, it generated an entirely different breed of behavior in people at the
The
Jersey Shore.
demographic of tourists definitely changed.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was a lot less like families and their kids, and a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean,
more,
Seaside
like,
Heights was never really, never
families.
really a
That's
family-oriented
not true.
place.
Back in
But
the day, it was. But even when I worked on that boardwalk, there was like an invisible line of the north end and the south end, and if you ever went to the north end, you sure shit didn't visit the
Mhm.
south end. There was only one place that anybody wanted to go on the south side, and that was Windmill Pizza. But you didn't go through the
Yeah.
boardwalk to get there. You drove your car through to the parking lot. And
It's like
walked.
gangland.
Windmill Pizza, are you that disconnected from Seaside
I'm sorry, the
and
sawmill.
home?
Sorry,
pizza.
sawmill. Yeah, you just don't go to that side of the board. But after Hurricane Sandy, they actually redid the boardwalk, and now that side of the boardwalk basically
It's the nicer side.
is
Right.
actually the nicer side. The north end is now the not so nice side.
I wonder why the kids both.
All the moral of the story is we should have sank it years ago, so that way we could have started back up better.
Yeah.
Good to know. We'll keep that in mind. I guess Wildwood's due for a reset pretty soon. Then I don't know.
I never understood.
I don't know if you've seen the mouth breathers walking around over there, but
I never understood the affiliation with people from Pennsylvania going to Wildwood as their preferred shore location. It is so much further away
oh yeah,
than
it's
all
the
the
furthest.
other beaches that they could go to on the way in.
Other
You
than
pass
Cape May.
every other shore town to get to Wildwood.
Yeah, other than Cape May, it is. But it's like the U.S. and Hawaii. Like we have our own beaches, but we still like annexed Hawaii. We did the same thing with Wildwood. Like we could have gone here, here, and here, but we planted our flag in Wildwood.
If that's what you want to go with,
It's-
sure, no problem.
It's Delco South.
Delco South.
It is.
Oh
You see
my
the flags
God.
flying and everything. Like
It's
we've
Delco-
established a
Yikes.
beachhead.
Delco and Chester South. For sure.
Chester County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say Chester. I don't know where they go to the beach, but it ain't Wildwood. The banks of the Delaware River, maybe.
Oh, God.
You see some out there in a tube. Oh, I think that's about it for this week.
I think we've exhausted our pool of nonsense to talk about for
We've
a day.
exhausted the pool. We've exhausted the whiskey. I'm exhausted.
I'm done.
Yeah, so it's time to call it for this week. We'll be back not next week, maybe the following week. We're trying to cook something up for maybe a little on location. So we'll see if we can find a brewery to take us in. But in the meantime, check back in 13 days.
Cheers.
God damn it, Jeff.